Urban myths, or legends, are stories that spread rapidly, often through word of mouth, and are rooted in exaggeration or fear. These myths can reveal much about the anxieties and concerns of the society in which they originate. Many of these myths reflect deeper fears about safety, technology, and societal change. Here are 10 urban myths that have persisted over time, each reflecting a unique societal fear. 1. The killer in the backseat. One of the most common urban myths involves a woman driving at night, only to discover later that there was a murderer hiding in the backseat of her car. This myth taps into the fear of personal safety and vulnerability, particularly for women. It reflects societal concerns about crime, the dangers of being alone, and the potential threat posed by strangers. 2. The Hookhanded Man. This myth tells of a man with a hook for a hand who stalks couples parked in secluded areas, waiting to attack. It is often used as a cautionary tale for teenagers, warning them of the dangers of late-night romantic encounters. The story reflects societal anxieties about teenage rebellion, violence, and the threat of sexual assault or harm in isolated settings. 3. The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. In this chilling myth, a babysitter receives creepy phone calls from a man who is hiding in the house, and the calls come from upstairs where the children are supposedly safe. This urban legend feeds into fears about the safety of children and the vulnerability of those who care for them. It also touches on the fear of being watched and violated in a place that should be safe, one's own home. 4. The Haunted Mirror. The myth of haunted mirrors, particularly those that trap souls or reflect disturbing images, is often linked to fears of death, the supernatural, and the unknown. Mirrors in folklore are thought to be portals to other realms, and this myth reflects a fear of the afterlife and the idea that the dead can communicate or return in unexpected ways. 5. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. This myth involves a hitchhiker who is picked up by a driver, only to vanish mysteriously during the ride. Upon investigation, the driver finds out that the hitchhiker had died years earlier in the same area. This myth taps into fears of death, the supernatural, and the idea that the past can return to haunt the present. 6. The Sewers Full of Alligators. According to this myth, alligators are bred in the sewers of large cities, often following a person who flushes their pet down the toilet. The story is a manifestation of the fear of urban decay and the possibility of danger lurking in unexpected places, such as the hidden parts of a city. It also reflects anxieties about the consequences of human actions on nature. 7. The Poisoned Halloween Candy. A persistent myth warns of tampered candy on Halloween, with dangerous objects like razor blades or poison hidden in treats. This myth speaks to societal fears of child safety, the dangers posed by strangers, and the loss of innocence. It also reflects a growing concern about crime and distrust in others, especially in public spaces. 8. The Kidney Thieves. In this myth, someone is drugged or knocked unconscious, only to wake up later in a bathtub full of ice, discovering that their kidneys have been stolen. This urban legend taps into societal fears about organ trafficking, the vulnerability of individuals, and the exploitation of the body. It also plays on anxieties about medical procedures and the fear of losing control over one's own body. 9. The Dog That Licked Its Owner's Face. A chilling urban myth involves a person who, upon returning home, finds their dog licking their face, only to later discover that the dog was licking the blood of an intruder they had killed. This story plays on fears of home invasion, the loss of control in a familiar environment, and the idea that danger can come from unexpected places, even within one's own home. 10. The Cursed Phone Number. The myth of a cursed phone number tells of someone who dials a seemingly normal number, only to be cursed or haunted by a disturbing voice or strange occurrences afterward. This myth reflects societal fears about technology and how something as seemingly benign as a phone call can lead to danger or loss of privacy. It taps into the anxiety that technology, which is meant to connect us, can also be a means of intrusion and harm. Urban myths serve as a reflection of the collective fears, anxieties, and uncertainties within society. Whether stemming from fears of violence, the supernatural, or technology, these myths help explain how we process and cope with our darkest fears. Though they may be exaggerated or fictional, their persistence in popular culture shows that the concerns they address remain real for many people. Understanding these myths can offer insight into the psychological and cultural forces at play within a society.